like if I need everyone's advice, like if I need the advice from all of you, I can't be asking each one of you one by one in an online meeting. I can just prepare a Google form and circulate it beforehand, like before the meeting or during the meeting in the chat box, and I may just ask you people to fill it and convey to you that the decision will be based on what choice you make in that Google form. So you need to delegate the action items, distribute meeting minutes to stakeholders. So if we have a meeting, if you have a meeting in your professional life or in your organization, so you need to prepare minutes of the meeting, whatever the proceedings of the meeting, and then you need to share it with all the people who are going to be affected with it, apart from the participants, right? So online meetings, do's and just hold on. Yeah, online meetings don'ts. So you should not interrupt others, right? If somebody is speaking, do not interrupt the other person. See here, for example, if we start having a discussion, if these two start speaking at the same moment, I can just tell, okay, do not speak right now. But in an online meeting, there is a very less control of the host, unless definitely on a platform like Microsoft, the host has a good control, right? But then it is not always so. So every participant needs to take their own responsibility and should not interrupt each other, and you should not join late, right? And you should not be distracted. मटर नहीं छीलने बैठे बैठे, chatting नहीं करनी. Do not do all of these things. So stay focused. Don't stray, maintain as much consistency as feasible. Do not turn meetings into lengthy speeches. I've discussed earlier, so I'm not going to repeat. LinkedIn is something that we've already discussed. I'm not going to talk about it. I hope that those who were there in the previous class must have made an account. If you have not made an account, do that. Okay. Telephonic skills. Telephone and you. Now, you may just think that, you may just think that, sir, we've been using mobile phone. Like, what are you going to teach us and how is it relevant? So, when you talk about a professional space, uses of telephone is significant and it is important. So, it is important to also learn how our communication or code of conduct needs to be when we use that particular device for communication, right? So, for example, interviews these days happen on telephone, right? Just hold on. Sir, I'll call you back. So interviews happen on telephone. People have conference calls, right? Then people make decisions over telephones. At times this also happens. Then you get a call from a salesperson. You get, this is very usual. You get a call from the insurance person. Sir, car insurance ले लीजिए. मैम क्रेडिट कार्ड के लिए कॉल करती हैं, आपको परेशान करती हैं. सर अकाउंट खुलवा लीजिए. These are very common things, right? And that is why तुम कहोगे सर हम नहीं करते. But the thing is, you will speak to your boss someday, right? You will work somewhere, or you would be somebody's boss, so you will have to speak with your employees. So you'll be in that stage where in your professional life you will be communicating over telephone. That is why you need to learn the right telephonic skills. Now these are certain things which you need to take care of. You need to be alert. Now what is this alertness? And then it is written, show that you are wide awake. आंखें खुली नहीं रखनी, कान खुले रखने हैं. कान खुले रखने का मतलब ये नहीं है. The thing is, you need to listen intently. There should be active listening and not passive listening. अच्छा ठीक है वाला हिसाब नहीं चाहिए. You need to be active listeners, right? So for example, if your boss, your client, and you three are on a con call to resolve an issue that your client is facing, right? So you need to listen intently to the issue of the client. Then you will be able to provide a good solution to the client as well as report the things rightly to your boss, right? Show that you are wide awake. Okay, put a smile in your voice. This is something that is not possible. How can you put a smile in your voice? But then definitely you can put a smile on your face. But then on telephone your face is not visible. So what is this? This is basically, you need to talk to somebody. You should not talk to somebody in this manner. Hi sir, yes, do you need a credit card? Have you ever heard somebody saying like this on the other side of the phone? No, they're like, hello sir, how are you doing today? Sir, I am from this company, do you need a credit card? It sounds enthusiastic. Even when you are having a bad day, you'll feel like, chalo 2 minute baat kar hi lete hain. So The idea is you need to, you need to be enthusiastic, right? Use simple, straightforward language. Avoid technical term slang. So use simple language. Do not use complicated words. Do not use technical words unnecessarily, right? Use a normal tone of voice. The louder you are, the louder everyone else becomes. Now, apart from this, I would like to point out something. If you already know that on the other side of the phone, somebody is an old age person, right? So the right etiquette on telephone would be, "Sir, am I audible to you?" Now, this is something that you can't ask everybody. But then, because you know that after a particular age, there are hearing problems that people face. So it's always good to ask the other person, "Sir, am I audible enough to you?" Right? Or it says use a normal tone of voice. When to speak, sorry, how to speak with a person, right? So, for example, if there is a mishappening that has happened with a particular employee at your place, in your company, and that employee applied for a 5 day a week leave, right? Now you are his boss, so you have to call him up and tell him that you've got 1 week leave. So यार ideally एक हफ्ते की छुट्टी किसे पसंद नहीं है, but उसके अगर मिस हैपनिंग हुई है, so you can't just be like, "Hey, you got a 1 week leave, bro." You can't, you cannot say like that. You need to take care of your tone. uh, Hi, I hope you are doing well. I am sorry for your loss. So I got your request for a 1 week leave. You've got it. Please feel free to extend the request for the extension of the leave if it is required. If you need any other help, feel free to connect. Now, this is the ideal way in which you should communicate. Your tone and the volume must be appropriate to what is required, right? Moving to the other slide. Positive greeting is required. You can't just be on the call and say, "हाँ जी ऐसा है ऐसा है." You can't just do like that. If you get a call from somebody from an insurance company, and that person starts saying, "What if your car crashes all of a sudden, sir?" My God, you will be shocked. क्या हो गया? होगा ना? आधे तो वहीं पे हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की जरूरत है, उसके बाद तो द आइडिया इज कि उन्हें बोलना है, पहले तुम्हें ग्रीटिंग अच्छे से करना है. "Hi sir, this is Ruchi. How are you doing today?" Right? So this is the ideal. You need to have a positive greeting. Active listening. Now, because you call your employee and you are the boss, पैसे तुम्हारे जा रहे हैं, इसका मतलब तुम ही नहीं बोलो कि तुम्हारा हक सिर्फ बोलने का, अगला सुने. ऐसा नहीं. अब से 15 साल पहले होता था, पैसे लगते थे. सो आई यूज टू कॉल एंड आई फील लाइक 2 रुपए मेरे खर्च हो रहे हैं 2 मिनट के, तो मैं बोलूंगा ज्यादा. तेरे को बोलना होगा तू कॉल कर. The idea is, speaking is not the only thing that is, a good speaking skill is not the only thing that is required when you communicate with somebody on a telephonic call. Rather, a good listening skill is also required. Good listening skill में कैसा? Active. That you are actively participating in it, in whatever is being conveyed, right? So active listening skill is required. Taking control. Now there are times when when the other person starts getting distracted from the path. So if let's say if let's say she calls me, if she is if she is from shadi.com and she calls me because she must have seen my profile somewhere. So let's say she calls me and she calls me to just tell me about certain offers at shadi.com, right? So she calls me and, "Sir, are you Rituraj Anand?" So, "Good morning, sir. Are you Rituraj Anand?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm Rituraj Anand. Tell me." "Sir, I'm from shadi.com. My name is Priya. Sir, there is a good offer for you." "Ma'am, listen to me." So let's say if she asks the moment she asks me, "Sir, how are you?" If at that moment, "Ma'am, I'm doing very like I'm very sick today, and I've been trying to find out a good bride for me, but I'm not able to." If I start delineating from the topic, so good telephonic skill is to bring the other person back on the track. So a good control is required, right? Next is resolving the issue. Now, if you will have the right telephonic skills, so it will help you to resolve a particular issue at hand in a sort of in a good and in a good way and in an effective manner. Mirroring the customer in a professional life, when the customer speaks with you over telephone, because obviously the other person is not visible, so you need to just create an image of that other person in your head so as to understand the other person in a better way. That is almost like keeping yourself in the other person's shoes, right? Handling angry customers. Now this is again something that is very common, and specifically when the customers are from Haryana or Delhi, so that is going to cause a lot of problem. But then you need to have the right set of skills to handle such customers as well. Telephone etiquette. So you know we have discussed a lot of different telephone etiquettes, so I'm not going to delve into that. Do not frown, because obviously no matter whatever expression you make at your end, it is not going to make any difference. Why waste energy? Mutter. Do not mutter in your own mouth. यार क्या बोल रहा है? You should not do like, speak things clearly if you want to speak something. Do not sound tired. Hi sir, how are you doing? You can't sound tired. The other person will just disconnect. Shrill voice. Do not have a shrill voice. Negative rambling. Do not start speaking continuously, and that too negatively, right? Certain do's. Smile. They really can hear it, of course. I mean, and here we are not saying laughter, we are talking about smile. Smile is something that you see, laughter is something that you hear, right? But then it is that if you say something smilingly, that is also visible in your tone. The other person can understand that you are speaking something. Sir, I'll call you back in the class. Speak clearly and concisely, right? You need to speak clearly. Whatever you speak, have a clarity in your own head and then convey it. Also concisely. Respect the other person's time. Time is the most important thing that you can ever give to someone, right? And this is something that if you respect somebody's time, that means you are respecting the other person as well. So keep yourself concise. Be enthusiastic. Do not sound low all the time. But definitely if you have to share something emotional, that of course you don't do in your professional life. Even let's say if some mishappening has happened at my place, right? And if I have to ask for leave from my boss, I can't start crying on the phone. I can just obviously, but definitely there are n number of things that won't be in my control, right? So because I would be at loss, first of all I'll not be in that state to call my boss and ask for leave. Let's say if I'm asking for leave, I should not just start blurting and crying on the phone. डेफिनेटली मैं बिल्कुल cheerful भी sound नहीं कर सकता, but how I need to maintain a balance, I need to take care of that. Talk in a positive mood, listen and then discuss. So even if when you have to discuss, prefer listening to the other person first and then jumping on to the discussion, right? This is something that is required. Okay, I think, okay, I have another class. Close कर दीजिए आप, ये टेक्निकल देख रहे हैं आप क्या? क्लोज कर दीजिए, है ना? So